Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be making coffee fairy cakes. I'm going to just quickly, in case you want to make it, run through a couple of things. First off, I'm going to preheat my Tefal Cake Factory to 180 centigrade, but if you've got a fan assisted normal oven then it's 160, but I like to preheat it for like 5-10 minutes while I prep everything else. And then obviously I then oil up my bake tray or tins just so it's easier. And obviously when I scoop the batter mix, which you'll see in the video, I like to use an ice cream scoop because one scoop per hole is the perfect size. Basically what the ingredients, and I'll tell you, normally it's 140 grams of golden caster sugar, but I'm trying to do different things at the moment and trying to make mine more sugar friendly. So at the moment I've been using the Total Sweet, which is a substitute, but if you're going to do this the normal way, then it's 140 grams of golden caster sugar, it's 140 grams of butter, 3 eggs, 140 grams of self-raising flour, 2 tablespoons of coffee, which I'm going to make up. Obviously just put the hot water in. You can use espresso, but I'm just using that coffee because that's really strong. My husband loves strong coffee. And you can either use 180 ml of water or milk. I'm using milk because it's more creamy, but that's the basics of what you do there. So now, as you can see, I've got my flour, which is self-raising, and then to that I'm going to add my eggs, butter and my sugar alternative. Okay, so now I've got my sugar alternative, butter, eggs, the flour in there, and I'm going to mix. But as I mix, I'm going to then add the water and a little bit of the coffee at a time so I can keep an eye on the consistency of the batter. Okay, so now you can see that's all mixed together. I've also got a little bit of coffee left over, which I'm going to use for the buttercream when I'm getting ready to decorate. But basically this is it. As you can see, it's not a too wet a consistency, it's not too thick. You want the consistency to be like that. So let's get ready to fill the tray. So as you can see, all I do is, this is a non-stick anyway, but I always like to grease it up, and I just use vegetable oil. So you can use melted butter if you prefer, but it's just to make sure. But I just like to do it so that they definitely don't stick, but they shouldn't. They should just turn out. But I tend to use oil for if I'm doing most cakes. But if you haven't got oil, then just use some melted butter. And now we're ready to fill. As I said before, I like to use an ice cream scoop because you get the perfect amount. Just 1 scoop per hole. And I should have mentioned earlier that the ingredients altogether, this will make a batch of between 18, maybe 24 fairy buns, or it will just make one standard size sandwich cake. Just, you know, a normal like 9-inch tin, round or square, and that'll make a normal if you want just to make a cake instead of fairy cakes. As you can see, now I'm ready to put the first batch in to bake. Okay, so now I'm ready to bake, and as I said before, I'm putting this on at 180 degrees, but if you're using a conventional oven, it's 180, or a fan assisted, it's 160, and I'll bake these between 18 and 22 minutes, but I'll set it at 18, then I'll check, and if I need to, then I'll give them extra minutes. But basically that's it. Okay, and now they're ready to start baking. Next, and in another video, I will dedicate a video just to showing you how I make my buttercream, because I do 2 different variations. I do the standard buttercream, but I also do a different cream where I use a sugar-free custard powder if I'm making my father-in-law or myself cakes because of our diabetes. but I do try, but it's, but in the normal buttercream's the best, let's face it. But basically for standard my buttercream, and what I'll be doing today is I'll be using 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of icing sugar. I'll be using 2 tablespoons of the coffee that I made earlier, and I use one, maybe it depends on how thick it gets, but 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. And you can have use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or you can get online from Amazon or somewhere sugar-free vanilla extract drops. The brand that I particularly think's good is NYX ones. It's $6.99, but it's quite a large bowl. But it's sugar-free, but it tastes exactly like if you went in the supermarket and got the vanilla extract. So I'd recommend that. So if you're trying to adapt for the diabetes, I would change the sugar, golden caster sugar, to the substitute, which I showed you. I would then use water instead of the milk. I would use the sugar-free custard powder for the icing rather than normal icing sugar, and I would use the alternative extract vanilla rather than the standard. So that's that.